Increasingly, sustainability policies are showing up in RFPs and questionnaires. Now, RFP stands for Request for Proposal, so a potential client issues an RFP and they've got sustainability criteria, or suppliers or customers and investors are starting to put sustainability into their questionnaires. This is an example where management is trying to incorporate sustainability, encourage good governance practices throughout the life cycle. So they put in some baseline, bullet points that they want to have here about compliance and supporting international principles and social responsibility. And they're saying this is generally the framework that we want to have, because rather than going and auditing every single company or potential client, putting sustainability criteria into an RFP or to questionnaire is a way to significantly cover a portion of the supplier or potential customer base in a short time, and it's a lot cheaper. So in some ways, you're being proactive. You're saying, if you want to do business with us, make sure you follow these principles. I do have to say, from one example, when I was working with a local city government, working actually with their Office of Sustainability, they issued an RFP of some client work that they wanted done. And they didn't want the proposals to be sent by regular mail. They didn't want to be created hard copy. Everything had to be done electronically. Now, of course, we all do everything electronically, but there was still this mindset that you needed to show up and have a big, paper presentation and give that to them. And they were saying, you know what? As part of the sustainability contract, we want to make sure that we're actually, throughout our entire RFP process, incorporating sustainability in what we're doing. So how is sustainability showing up in these RFPs and the criteria? A lot of times they're just trying to verify supplier claims. Someone says, well, we've got 100% recycled product or something that's an eco version of something, and they want to see where it's coming from. So a lot of times they'll put RFPs that will have questions that will want to be verifying your supplier's claims. They want to make sure that they see what you're doing so they can write it into their own evaluation reports and measure performance. They're trying to find out how to ask and encourage suppliers to change their practices. And one way of doing this is by putting it into an RFP and saying, please tell us how your company is going to help us advance our sustainability. Tell us how you are doing things from a socially responsible or environmentally responsible manner that can help us be better by working with you. So they started putting in these criteria along with minimum standards to encourage respondents to not only offer minimum compliance, but hopefully to offer items that may exceed expectations. For example, working with a large corporation that was looking at who they were going to be using for their subcontractors, they put some minimal sustainability requirements, and then they just said, and tell us all the other things that by working with you will help us meet our sustainability goals. And so companies started tripping over themselves to do better and to have different policies and things in place so that they could win these bids. That's the kind of power that incorporating sustainability criteria in RFPs can accomplish. Some of the ways that these criteria are being used to evaluate, if let's say you're in the service or the restaurant industry or product industry, they're looking at, what's your chemical makeup? What are you doing with waste? What are you doing on, reusability? What are you doing on your water and air pollution? Are you producing locally? Maybe the RFPs, if they're a big supplier, they're looking for what certifications do you have? Do you have fair labor, fair trade? Do you have, organic certification? What packaging reductions? Are you women or minority or veteran or disabled-owned business? Do you have product take-back policies? They're evaluating lots of different things. And so these are some criteria to be aware of as you're thinking about not only creating your own sustainability criteria, but as you're looking to answer the customer questionnaires or supplier questionnaires that may be coming your way. This is an example of just a simple bullet that was put into an RFP that we received that just asks candidates to keep in mind how their sustainability initiatives are going to be evaluated. And so they gave the example here. We're saying, look, overall, we're looking at cost, we're looking at quality, we're looking at performance and who's on your team. And oh, by the way, 10% of this is going to be weighted on your sustainability performance. This is an effective tool that if you're trying to incorporate sustainability into a procurement policy, that you can just put it right out there in front and make sure that people will do that. In our own company, when we're working with contractors, We ask them to, find ways that they're going to do that, whether that's limiting their travel and using virtual teleconferencing or video conferencing or Skype to meet with us. If they're an intern or a contractor, we look to see if they can get to our office using alternative transportation or work from home capabilities. We try and build that into what we're looking for so that we're not adding more impact, but they're proactively reducing impact by working with people.